Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that actually came straight from you guys,
Oh, cool.
our listeners. You requested a deep dive into the history of innovation in Slovenia. And
Oh, Slovenia.
yeah, Slovenia. We're going to be pulling some information from a document called Innovaciones Eslovenia.pdf, which translates to Innovations of Slovenia.
I like it.
I like it too.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, it is. And this document really goes in depth
Okay.
from like ancient history all the way up to today.
Wow. Okay.
Be prepared to be amazed.
I'm ready.
Let's kick things off with something pretty incredible.
All right.
The Divje Babe flute.
Okay.
This thing is over 50,000 years old.
50,000 years.
It was found in a cave and it's considered one of the world's oldest musical instruments.
Oh, wow.
So, what does it tell us about early humans in this region?
Well, I mean, that's pretty remarkable, to think
Yeah.
that far back in history you have people in Slovenia expressing themselves. Through music, it kind of shows, that they were thinking a little bit more abstractly, than just basic survival.
Right.
There's this desire to be creative even that far back. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. Now, that's a pretty big leap from a bone flute
It is.
to Roman infrastructure.
Right.
The document mentions Emona,
Yes.
which is present-day Ljubljana, as a
Yeah.
hub for Roman innovation.
Right.
What were some of the advancements that they brought to the region?
The Romans, they were known for their engineering.
Yes. Aqueducts.
Aqueducts, sewage systems, and public baths, paved roads, like all of this stuff
Right.
really changed things up, as far as
Fossil
sanitation, public health trade.
It's huge.
It's really the foundation for
Yeah.
development in Slovenia. So that was a really big deal.
It's amazing to think about that stuff that we just take for granted
Totally.
today, right? Like indoor plumbing.
Yeah,
It was revolutionary back then.
absolutely.
Speaking of big leaps, the document kind of jumps ahead to the 1991 War for Independence.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How did innovation factor into that?
Well, you have to understand that Slovenia was really outmatched.
Right.
They didn't have as many people or weapons, but they were really clever.
Okay.
They used this thing called territorial defense, which meant they knew the land really well,
Okay.
and they used modified vehicles like things you'd see every day.
Okay.
But they changed them up a little bit, and that helped them slow down the Yugoslav army.
Wow.
And then you also have this international pressure that's happening at the same time, and all of this combined led to a pretty quick victory for Slovenia.
That's pretty incredible
It really is.
that they were able to use their ingenuity
Yeah.
to overcome those obstacles. And it seems like that dedication to defense has continued because Slovenia is a member of NATO today, and they've purchased those Boxer 8x8 armored vehicles.
That's right. They are still invested in, their national security and staying up to date on all of the latest military tech.
Okay, now let's switch gears a little bit.
All right.
Let's talk about culture and science.
Cool.
The document talks about this physicist,
Okay.
Joseph Stefan, and his work on the Stefan-Boltzmann Law. I gotta admit, thermodynamics is not my strong suit.
Oh, yeah, that can be a little tricky.
Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So basically, the Stefan-Boltzmann Law, it describes how much power is radiated from this thing called a black body.
Okay.
And it's all based on its temperature. It might sound really specific, but it's actually this really important concept in physics.
Yeah.
It helps us understand things like how hot stars are.
Wow.
And it even helps us design things like heating systems so they run more efficiently.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Joseph Stefan's work was super important for understanding how energy moves around.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So Slovenia's been making these really diverse contributions.
Totally.
The document also mentions medieval castles.
Oh, yeah. Those are awesome.
What kinds of innovations did those represent back then?
Well, a lot of those castles were built on these hills
Okay.
for strategic reasons, and they show how much architecture had advanced at the time. They were using new techniques for building fortifications.
Okay.
And they were even incorporating stuff that the Romans had done, which meant that these castles were built to last.
It's amazing how long some of those structures have stood.
I know, it's really impressive.
And speaking of lasting legacies, Slovenia seems to have always been ahead of the curve when it comes to sustainability.
For sure.
Ljubljana has been named one of the greenest cities in Europe.
It's pretty amazing.
What do they do that makes them stand out?
They've really focused on making the city livable.
Okay.
They've got areas just for pedestrians, lots of bike paths, and their public transportation system is amazing.
Yeah.
They're also really big on reducing, reusing, and recycling.
That's great.
Something that other cities could definitely learn from.
So it sounds like they've implemented some pretty innovative policies.
They have.
What specifically have they done?
So they have this plan called Vision 2025, which sets all of these big goals for sustainability in all kinds of areas, like transportation, energy, you name it, and then they've also got strict rules about car emissions.
Okay.
And they give people incentives to build green buildings.
So it's a mix of having a plan for the future and taking action in the present.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's cool to see it all come together.
And it seems like this forward thinking applies to their tech sector, too. The document mentions Slovenia developing all this advanced software and digital solutions.
Yeah, they are definitely up and coming in the tech world.
And they're participating in Horizon Europe.
That's a big one.
Which is the EU's massive research and innovation program.
Yeah, it's huge.
And they're focusing on climate change, achieving digital transformation.
It's a big deal.
Promoting health, like all these big issues.
It's pretty cool to see them so involved.
Yeah, they really seem committed to the future.
Absolutely.
So we've gone from ancient flutes to cutting-edge tech.
What a journey.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really highlights how creative and innovative Slovenia has always been.
It makes you wonder, what are they going to come up with next?
Yeah, what other hidden gems are they sitting on?
What groundbreaking ideas are waiting to be discovered? Huge thanks to all of you for coming along with us on this deep dive into Slovenia's surprisingly innovative history. We've got plenty more fascinating deep dives coming your way, so be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you soon.